We need the volunteers because that's what how Project Read operates. It's an adult person interacting with two children once a week for an hour, young children who are mostly schooling in English, which is not their mother tongue or their first language, and they need help with their literacy and their language development, in other words with getting to know what reading and writing is about, but also just their language development into the stories and books.
Good, yeah.
The way the program works is it's that interaction between an adult and either one child or two children. Intensive one-on-one, working on their sounds, playing games with them, reading to them, and it's on that relationship that the learning is built.
There's a lot that you learn, not just about the work or teaching children, but also about yourself. Every one of us, regardless of our educational background, can actually contribute quite a lot in terms of encouraging children, to read and to love books and to love just reading on their own. The other reason, besides the fact that we're in the Eastern Cape, which has such huge education difficulties, is that it's really one of the ways that we can learn about each other. So sometimes when you teach someone else something, they can teach you something. On the whole, there's more, I suppose, exciting things than there are difficulties. And I think after a while, once, during the school holidays, you actually start to miss, reading to the kids and being with the children. Show me how to jump. Show me how to jump. Well done. It often takes children a while to firstly get used to you as a volunteer, but once you've got that relationship going, it's also quite exciting. Once a child relaxes around you and they can tell you stories and they can share books with you and share their favorite, characters, that's cool.
We'd like very much to get more volunteers from the immediate community, from the community where these schools are situated. That's probably what we're lacking at the moment. Most of our volunteers come from other parts of town, and we would really like parents or people who are not employed full-time or have the time and the capacity to come and to become involved in the program.
I thought, well, I must find something to do that will keep me enthusiastic, and this is the most delightful thing. Because they come rushing in, they're keen to learn. Before they go, they give you a hug. They are just brimming over with enthusiasm, and it's infectious, and that's why I'm here. And this is where it's got to start. We have to start with compassion for all the children.
You just watch out, big boy, said Dad.
The talent is here, but we've got to make it work, and we've got to make it move. Otherwise, we're doomed to a most awful future, really.
No, you won't, said Gogo, rocking the baby on her lap. You're a big boy now.
We're actually fighting for the soul of our nation, and that's why there's so many of us here, because we've got to make a difference somewhere. And if we start with R, then the only way to go is up.
The volunteers, most of them, they end up loving those kids. They really form a strong bond, and they find it very rewarding on the whole. I must say there are times when I suppose there are frustrations because the children aren't learning as much as they think they should be. But on the whole, they really enjoy it. They find it so rewarding and building up a relationship with these children. And often it takes them into places where they would not otherwise have gone. So I think generally they find it very rewarding. They become very attached to the children, and the children themselves as well. I think they just love it because it's often for them the only individual attention they get because their classes are big. Perhaps they're in a big family at home or their parents are working.
Some flowers. You take some flowers.
They really respond well to the individual attention as well, and they start to really love reading and stories because they begin to associate it with positive feelings and a positive experience. And I mean, for many of them, it's the first time an adult's ever sat down with them and read them a story or played a game with them. So it's really valuable. I always stress for the volunteers, as much as it is about helping them with decoding skills and the technical skill of reading, it's about that relationship and building a love of reading and a love of learning.